Welcome to On Deck. Today we are on board Alpha Waves, a 133-foot, 40-meter Benetti Oasis. Today we'll speak with some of the crew as well as the owner to find out what makes this vessel truly unique, from her handicap accessibility as well as her fishing and diving programs. This is On Deck by Northrop & Johnson. You all will be cruising the Bahamas this summer. What is your favorite route or anchorage to show guests?
The Bahamas, as you and I both know, it's such beautiful waters there. It's such an expansive places to explore. But I've got to say, the Exumas is definitely my favorite playground, really. The shallow waters, the pristine beaches. You've got the chain that spreads sort of 60, 70 miles from north to south and getting down to Staniel. And you can't really go wrong anywhere there. But if I had to pick one spot, I guess pulling into Compass Key Marina has got to be one of my favorites. Luckily on this boat, we're the sort of maximum size. You can get a little bit bigger in there. But with our shallow draft, well, it makes it an easy target for us. And just pulling in there and the guest reaction, they always say they don't want to go to Marina. We don't want to go there. Trust me. And then when we come in there, it's like, can we stay forever? They just absolutely love it. And that reaction just blows me away.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's like a one-of-a-kind experience. And that's where you get the sharks too.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever went and literally had a shark in my lap, it's a crazy experience.
Well, I always say to the guests, like coming into Compass Key, it's like, oh, you've got the sharks. Oh, I'm so scared of sharks, so scared. And I always put a little bet on with them. There's $10. By the end of the day, you'll be swimming with them. Oh, no way. I'm going to take your money. And then they end up giving me the money back.
Yeah, exactly.
And they love it. And,
exactly.
I've had guests go in, as I said, didn't want to go into Marina. Said, we want to be at anchor. I said, just trust me on this one. We went in there. We spent one night. They asked for another night. And they asked for a third night as well. And this was a 2-week charter, so we had the time. But it's always, I love it when they change their mind and just trust me a little bit.
So what makes Alpha Waves stand out, not only among her competitors in the Bahamas, but in her size, range, and category?
Being such a modern boat, the modern design is reflected a lot. We have both the interior volume and the exterior deck space that is not necessarily found or always found on a boat of this size, I'd say. She is set up for entertainment on the outdoors with this huge 900 square feet beach club we have here. To the massive sundeck we have up top, lots of space outside, very open spaces on the inside, so it's an open plan sort of living, I guess you could say. We come with a lot of toys. It's standard in the charter boats, but we pack a punch there with the diving gear and the fishing stuff that we have.
What would you say are some standout features that are unique to Alpha Waves?
Okay, I'd say there's two very important features that I would like to describe. And one is the diving. We are a PADI recognized dive vessel. We've gone through the whole process of certification on board, meaning all our equipment has to be held to the highest standards. We have instructors on board, which of course have to go through their recertification. So we do offer the diving as part of a certification process for guests that want to do it on board. If they just want a trial or if they actually want to get to the next level, we can offer that on board. We have complete sets for up to 8 people. One of those would be the instructor or the master, but so 7 guests can dive at the same time. The second unique standout feature on here is the ADA accessibility. We have a full-size elevator for a normal wheelchair. We have a custom-built gangway that can accommodate a full-size wheelchair. Flush decks everywhere. The master cabin has extra wide doors for the showers. No sills, no nothing. So
down to the smallest details too. Like we noticed when we took our tour of the master. The last time I was on board, even the mirror is slightly slanted, angled,
exactly.
So that you've got the perfect view. What makes the crew stand out? Why are they so special?
The crew come from a varied background, really. Some of them are seasoned professionals for years and years, as some of them are quite new. And again, I think that does show throughout the day, throughout the conversation, throughout the interaction. I think it's lovely. And I've got to say, well, the chef is great because she's my wife. So that's
she paid you to say. No, I know this as a fact as well.
No, it's I got a good bunch of people on board. I trust my crew to the T. They're hard workers, solid workers, and just we're all just very excited when we get out on charter and just seeing the response we get from our guests on board. So.
And from your point of view as captain, what makes a great charter experience?
I'd say open communication. These are the key points, and maybe we'll go into it later. But open communication between the guests and the crew, a happy crew. I think flexibility throughout the charter. I think safety on board, of course, and then respect for the crew and the vessel. Open communication. I think if the guests, if the principals, if the clients sort of trust the crew, trust the process, and have that communication from the very beginning. Tell us what you want. Tell us what you don't want. That makes my life so much easier. It makes the chef's life so much easier. It's like it's not a secret. It's your vacation here,
and they'll get the most benefit.
They'll get the most benefit. Yeah, we know exactly what to be starting with, rather than waiting till day 5 and then you've only got a couple of days left. So open communication, and we do this through various processes. Through the brokerage, you've got preference sheets. I always like to have a conversation with the principals prior. Then, of course, the next point about the crew. If you've got a willing and eager and happy crew, that really shows for everybody. Things they just happen on time. Yes. It's like the water sports are set up. We know exactly what you want in the morning, or the stews will know what cocktail you like at 6 o'clock or when the sun's going down, and it just seamlessly happens.
Right.
And I think if you've got a happy crew that we do on here and they want to be there, that just really shows and reflects in the whole process. But. And then we move on to flexibility. That's a big one, as we all know.
Certainly.
Yeah, as we all know, the weather is the one thing that I can't control, although I do try. Haven't been given that gift just yet, but so flexibility is a huge thing.
Yeah.
We're on the ocean, we're in the sea, anything can happen. We're in the Bahamas, storms can pop out of nowhere, the wind can pick up. And we've got to be flexible to change our location. We always have an itinerary. I always say that the itinerary I send you a month before you get on board is going to change. It does, every single time. So, but just trust me a little bit, or trust us. And it's like, if things do change, I'll get you to the next your secluded anchorage that you're going to feel happy in, or the sunset's going to be coming down at the right place, and make those memories that you're looking for. So I think flexibility is a big thing. Then we come down to the safety of the vessel. Of course, safety is paramount. It's my priority for you, for my crew, for the vessel.
What do you feel is the secret to great service at sea?
Would be being 2 steps ahead. Always paying attention, listening, hearing what our guests are actually saying, and when they're not in front of us, also listening and hearing. That would be probably just be 2 steps ahead.
Yeah,
and
being
with a smile,
flexible and adjusting when you hear that they maybe are looking for something
the
different.
one thing that is for certain is the uncertainty.
Yes, that's right, especially at sea.
Yes.
So Alpha Waves has a lot of themes on board and can do fun theme nights and parties. What are some of your favorites?
Oh, there's so many. We do a lot of special requests from guests, but some of our favorite, or my favorite that we have on board currently, it would probably be 80s night.
Yes.
And I think it just gives the guests an excuse to just let loose and wear funky clothes and listen to great music.
Yes.
And we've got our karaoke machine out there, so we just kind of incorporate both.
Do some of the crew members get up there too?
Oh yeah, we were very interactive with our theme night.
Being at sea can often have its challenges, and you have different people coming and going on board. What is one unique request that you've received from a guest, and how did you fulfill it?
Oh, we've received quite a few requests, whether it be celebrating anniversaries, stuff like that. But one of the strangest, it's not really strange, but different,
okay,
is that we had to convert our bar into a whole wellness center. Like a whole wellness. So they didn't want any liquor on board, which is fine.
Sure.
But we had all the supplements, we had all the smoothie. It was basically a smoothie bar where our bar is.
Interesting. And that's like the center focus here in the main salon too.
Yeah.
And then I've heard at the conclusion of a charter that you all have a special gift that you give to guests. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yes. We actually, through the charter, we take pictures. We're kind of like paparazzi of the boat with the guest permission.
Perfect.
We capture everything from the candid moments, all the excursions. We've got our GoPros in the air, our drones.
Amazing.
And we just create this video for you to take home with you to remember your time here on Alpha Waves.
So what were some of the modifications that you made on board to make her wheelchair and accessible friendly, and how did that look in the build process?
Well, there are hundreds. I mean, lots, so too many to talk about. But the beautiful thing is it starts with the elevator, and we chose this model because we loved it, and it's got so much volume for a 40-meter boat. But Benetti was willing to put an elevator in for us, and as it turns out, they're never going to do another one.
So we're super unique in this.
Yeah, very unique. Because typically you don't have an elevator on a 40-meter boat. It's little larger boats. So they did that, and that was a key consideration. And then we had to work with them extensively on what cabin of the elevator would be, because it had to fit her wheelchair. She had to come out.
A proper wheelchair.
A proper.
Very often the ones that we see, they're using the travel wheelchairs that are smaller.
Yes.
But this fits a full size.
Yes, and that was a very key attribute because we had chartered some boats beforehand, so we had some experience. They had elevators, but it was, you had to wedge her in. And
you're playing Tetris to get someone where they need to go.
It was tricky. So the whole boat was designed so that Lori can go anywhere in the boat by herself, except for the lower level, but she doesn't have to get down there because that's just where the guest quarters are. And so that included, when I was designing it, I spent hundreds of hours, putting out blue tape on my floor at home to make sure that, and then she'd come out of what we, put the blue tape in the elevator and make sure that she could make the turn out of it. And so, move some walls and things like that. The bathroom is designed, which is a key attribute because that was also difficult on other boats, perfectly for her. So it's super comfortable, actually better than any bathroom we have in our homes. And the shower door was, quite a bit larger, so she can get her shower chair in there and stuff like that. And then the pass rail was its own story where we had to, get that designed specifically to fit her. It works awesome. And then the other element of that is you have to store the pass rail, so we had to extend the bench out there.
Oh, the bench, yes.
The whatever that little seating area is called, and so it fits in there perfectly. So it's stored fully away when we're at anchor, which we're at anchor quite a bit.
Right. Yeah, everything's flush. All the decks and all the thresholds are flush.
Yeah.
She has the gym that she can use.
Yes.
And
and we got all the equipment in there that she likes to use, and then even the front, we there's a big bench there. It's a really cool seating area out in front of the bridge. And so, we kept a space so she could just wheel in there and be part of everybody as we're hanging out there having cocktails or whatever we're doing. So, and also I should say the crew is super adept at, the where we need crew help is getting her in the Invincible, but we've got a program to do that, and we actually have a system to. We have a crane, a small crane that we can bring down there, and we've got a harness for her, and we can flip her into the Dragonfly, and so she can go fishing on the Dragonfly.
The boat is really for everybody.
Yep, exactly.
As an owner, how do you go about selecting your captain and your crew?
Well, I work with a management company, and they're hiring a captain is one of their principal responsibilities. Through that process, we found Christian. The captain really select the rest of the crew. I'll have some input. Obviously, he came with his wife, who's a sensational chef and delightful. But the crew is an incredibly important element in chartering, particularly for us because we're on it for such a long time period. Probably the most important thing is the vibe.
Yes.
And the people that we have now are just fundamentally happy people and upbeat, and happy crew, happy boat is kind of my theory.
Yes.
And we've accomplished that with this crew, and they're really it's a game changer, and it's very exciting to. We're looking forward for the next 2.5 months, so that's a good thing. Lori and I, we entertain a lot on the boat. Good news when you have a boat, your friends want to visit. So
it's the best boat to have is a friend with a boat.
Fortunately, we've got a number of friends, so we have probably how many 50 nights with friends on for the next, 2.5 months. And so we go usually 4 nights with a group of friends, and then Lori and I just for 4 days to give the crew a rest. And they come on, and Samra, as Chief Stew,
Yes.
Has been interacting with her first group, and the frenzy of planning parties and all that stuff it's over the top in terms of the enthusiasm that they're showing. So I don't know what we're into for this first group, but
oh boy, I can't
it'll be a
wait to
blast.
hear. Yeah. And why did you decide to make Alpha Waves available for charter?
Well, a couple reasons. One is the first one's kind of crew specific, which is we're only on the boat for 3 or 4 months. Only. Not many owners are kind of live on a boat for that period of time. And so, but the other 8 months of the year exist, and I think they go bonkers if they didn't have some charter activity during there.
I think you're right.
And so they certainly want to do it, that they want as many charters as possible. Reports have been fantastic from the groups that we've had on board so far with this crew. And frankly, everybody's loved this boat. So it keeps them happy and busy, which is critical. From our standpoint, of course, it defrays the economics a little bit as we make some charter income. So that's always a nice thing. And, I guess finally, it's a cool boat. People should enjoy it. I mean, the crew takes care of it, so I'm never worried. I mean, maintenance is always happening. So I'm never worried about, any kind of wear and tear.
So if someone's looking at maybe a couple different boats and they're considering chartering Alpha Waves, what would you tell them?
Well, I think Alpha Waves, first of all, the volume of this boat, if they're not looking at another Benetti Oasis, is fantastic. We've chartered a 200-foot boat, 160-foot boat, several of those. And we feel like I have the same living space, if not more, just the way this thing is designed.
Yes. The main deck aft, this beach club, this area.
Here's a funny thing. When I've chartered the larger boats in particular, they usually have a formal living room and they have a formal dining room. You just never use them.
Right.
And so they're like
wasted space.
Whereas our living room is more of a cocktail area, and it opens up to the beach deck there, and with the wings that flap down, it's a really cool beach deck. We've got a huge assortment of toys and stuff like that, and hanging on that deck back there is really sensational. Obviously, the accessibility is unmatched. There's no other boat that has this accessibility if that need is present. And the crew, it really comes down. Your experience in the boat is your crew. And so and our crew is outstanding. So I think everybody's going to enjoy their time. I should also mention we invested, big chunk of money in this new technology. So the Invincible, which comes with, which is our 40-foot Invincible Cat tender, is great for deep sea fishing, doing all sorts of activities, etc. But it also it maps. And we've got this new WASP system, so it maps all the contours. Which relays back to the Alpha Waves, which gives this boat a lot more confidence and capability of getting into really cool anchorages and stuff. So that's another feature.
That's fantastic. So this year the boat will be in the Bahamas.
Yep.
And next year you're planning to maybe look further afield. So I'm wondering what have been some of your favorite cruising grounds so far, and where are you looking to head next?
I built the boat for Lori so that she could have fun and go scuba diving. And luckily, good scuba diving areas line up perfectly with the fish I go after, which is called a permit. So I can go permit fishing every day. Last couple of years, we went to Mexico, Ascension Bay, and we found an anchorage, and it's super remote down there. There's a cool town called Punta Allen there, and so the permit fishing there is terrific. And then outside, there's unbelievable diving because it never gets touched that much because no one ever goes down there. Then we went to Belize for about 2 months. And we went to some, my whole concept, and the crew has this capability, is, go to places where nobody can really get to. So there's this one particular atoll called Lighthouse Atoll, which is outside Turnip Flats. I spent a lot of time at Turnip Flats too. And then we went to the southern Belize, Sapodilla Keys, which are pretty remote. So we're anchoring out all the time. rugged is too strong a word, but
Okay.
it's adventurous.
Okay.
And so there's only one marina
Sure.
there, so you really have to, when you're anchoring, you have to be worried about the weather, of course, when you're in a boat. So you always have to find your anchorage, which is protected, and all that kind of stuff. So this year, I thought since we did that 2 years in a row, Bahamas also has permit and great diving, and a couple of the crew members really know Bahamas well. So we're going to hit every island group in the Bahamas. But I'm also targeting one next year is go to Roatan and Guanaja, which is in Honduras. And then if you go further out, you get almost close to Nicaragua, and there's a whole series of small islands out there, 80 miles from mainland, so it's pretty safe. And a lot of my fishing are there, so that's what we're thinking about for next year. But for 1 year at a time.
That's right. You gotta focus.
Bahamas is it.
Focus on the Bahamas for the moment. What is your signature dish, either on board or one that you really like to make?
I guess my favorite is whatever the guests catch out fishing. If they catch a big wahoo, we caught a 32-pounder on the last trip.
Oh my gosh.
I want to do sashimi, I want to do it seared, and then I want to make poke bowls the next day.
Yes.
That's my favorite, because then you can always as well say to the guests, like, they say thank you for cooking it, and you could say thank you for catching it, because there's no replacement for really fresh fish.
And how would you adapt your menus for different guests or regions in which you are?
Sure. I think that's probably the biggest part of my job nowadays, because you
Yeah.
always have someone who's kind of gluten-free or allergic to something or has a sensitivity. I think it's really about listening and then actually really taking note of it. If someone says they are sugar-free, you need to kind of take it seriously and keep sort of like a variety of other options on board, like sucralose or different cooking things that you can use
Right.
instead of the sugar. And then just kind of, if you can adapt the menu to suit everyone else as well without sort of upsetting the others, don't take the fun out of the cookies.
Yes.
But I think, that's most of my daily job is sort of making sure that everything makes sense for each guest.
Can you describe, or what words would you use to describe your cooking style in 3 words?
Well, I'm from California, and I started my yachting career in the Med, so I would say fresh, healthy, and local. I like to serve seafood, like I said. I like to serve kale salads. We're going to keep it light, but then maybe that means you can have, creme brulee as a dessert.
So what is one of the most unique meals that you have had requested as a chef?
Sure. So I definitely have 2 for that.
Okay.
We had Brazilian guests, a huge family, and they had these really adorable little kids. It was so much fun. And she kept asking me for this one dish before she joined, before they came on the vessel. And I didn't know what it was. So, use your friendly friend Google.
Yep.
And it's called farofa. And it's like it's like a ground cassava. It looks like kind of like cornmeal. And you just kind of dry roast it in a pan. Never had that before. So I learned how to make that. But the most unusual request I got was from a confirmed vegan.
Okay.
As a part of a vegan family, and on the last day he wanted sausage and biscuits with gravy, which is like entirely made of pork sausages and lard and butter and cream.
The complete opposite of being.
Yeah, so that was like a surprise, but happy to make it, of course. So
Did you have to say, like, are you sure this doesn't go with your diet?
Luckily, he was a really good sport about it, and he laughed while he said it. 'Cause
Okay.
I said, I don't have vegan sausage. I'm sorry, I don't have that on board. And he was
Yeah.
like, no, I eat pork.
This was On Deck by Northrop & Johnson on board Alpha Waves. For more information on charter, you can contact Northrop & Johnson.